there's much knowledge, not only in the people that are producing, but also in the plants that are growing in that region. You send out money, and you take away money from the people that are working hard here in the country. And of course, there's safety. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for coming, and thank you all for being interested to hear us. Like Egan said, our responsibility here is quite big. But before I say that, I also want to thank the organizers for introducing me. I was given a task to also introduce you to one of the stands from our school. They do Woody's creation there. And you can see the drums here are also from our school. So I'm going to be talking about local food and why it's important for us to really put more emphasis on local food. All right. I will try to really summarize it in short, but I think ideally from the introduction you were already told that my interest is more into food security. Like it's really important that we feel safe with our own food, because most of us Namibians, we are very much interested in what is out there and not what is in here. So I will try to convince you to look in here. So I think one can see in most cases when we are getting food from outside, the biggest easiest thing to see is the price, how much you pay to get your food in here and how much you lose. And you lose double. You send out money and you take away money from the people that are working hard here in the country. So that is the big one. And then you of course have got these environmental factors that comes along with it. And you have, sorry, it's a bit small, but I will just run through it. I don't have much time. I hope I'm a good salesman to tell you in 5 minutes. All right, so so there are many factors when it comes to buying or getting food from outside. Some of them Eckert has already said it. Like for example, most of our food from outside lose value with time as they travel to our dish, to our table. So if we look to support our food, local food, then we are strengthening these 3 pillars. We are strengthening food security, we are strengthening economic growth, and we are strengthening the health, because it takes less time to get food to your table, to get it from here than from outside. And of course, there's safety in that, because if you see now, for example, with the current war, where the fuel is going up, it's even more difficult to get imports, right? So the carbon footprint, I think I don't have to tell you much about that. We all have had it one way or the other. Try to reduce the carbon footprint as much as you can and keep the money here. So when it comes to value, and this goes as long as what Eckert was saying with the soil quality, the food quality, most of every environment knows what the people in that environment need. For example, the food that is grown locally here knows what your body needs. Yeah? So the needs of your body are compensated by the food that is grown in that area. And that's a big one. There's much knowledge, not only in the people that are producing, but also in the plants that are growing in that region. Okay? Of course, we know we do have challenges when it comes to our local production. We do have challenges, and that's why we need you. That's why we need more support from the people here to buy local, so that you strengthen you compensate for the challenges that the farmers are going through, the producers are going through, and so on. Here, I took this picture deliberately because there's so much, you can see there's waste here. The food is just falling. And nobody's interested because we want food from South Africa, we want food from wherever, from Zambia, yeah? But the food is right here. So what do we do? Okay. The other thing that is also I also needed to mention on this picture is that, for example, if you are eating tomatoes in winter, does that really speak to your seasonal need? Does that speak to your seasonal need? So yeah. Now we need to get to a point where we really treat our producers or our farmers as heroes, people who are here to save us, to save our economy, to save our environment, to save our even employment. We are always complaining about we don't have enough jobs, but we are not supporting these people here that are producing. So the Namibian farmer needs to be at a position where they are treated as our heroes here. No? Not the one with the gun, not the soldier, but the food producers. And we have so much varieties when it comes to our local food, and not only the native food, not only the food from the bush, but also food that is produced in our fields. The mahangus, the guavas, you know, all these things that we can grow here. And there's so much that we can grow here. So I think with that, I thank you, and I hope I convinced you a little bit.
Thank you so much, Temapo. So we open the floor for some questions. I think we have about 4 minutes for some questions. I know you have questions. I'll just give you time to formulate them.
I walked your garden. I think it's quite impressive. So where does your produce end up in winter all over? Here from Dachbrem.
Repeat that, please.
Where does your produce here from Dachbrem? How do you market it? Where does it end up?
So Temapo is a gardening teacher at Waldorf School, né? But I
Waldorf,
guess
not yet.
I guess the question still stands: is the food you grow there, where does it end up?
Good question. I think I'm also, of course, familiar with what is happening at Dachbrem. So it's, we are colleagues. I think most of the producers, if I can speak, similar to here as well. With Waldorf, most of the food goes to the hostel and the kitchen where they do hospitality. So the learners, they train there to do hospitality, to do value addition. So we have not yet come to the place where we can supply to Super Spa or to the green market, but we do still impact the knowledge to the learners to say this is what you can do with the food, and what you produce, this is what you can do. I hope that answers your question. Same, similar. Yeah, similar.
It's quite important that the food grown here actually stays here, né? It's used here in the school. Any other questions before we close off?
I really like mahangu, and my question is, I think it's called mama mahangu, which is produced here, but it's sold in sacks, right? Does it, comparing that product to getting it straight from the field in the north and ground, does it lose nutrients when it's processed and you're buying mama mahangu?
Nutrients.
Well, I would not go as far as, because I have not really gone into the point of seeing the difference between, let's say, bread that we buy from Super Spa and the bread that we make with mahangu. But I always feel there's more richness in the mahangu than And the grains in general, of course, as year goes by, if it's last year's mahangu, definitely it's not the same quality as this year's mahangu. And in the north, they always have this celebration. Whenever they're getting new mahangu, there's a whole festival to celebrate and to get rid of the old one and to use the new one. So sometimes the old one can end up being used for chicken feed, for pig feed, for, and then the new one for human consumption. So I would say, of course, with time, the grains do lose a bit of value. Yeah. But carbon footprint is reduced.